working as a data scientist with Newton School. Today's topic is incredibly relevant for all the aspiring data scientists out here. Crack the code, insider secret to landing your dream data science job. And for this, we have a very special guest with us. We are joined by Satya Pattnaik, a seasoned data scientist currently working at Microsoft, a graduate from BITS Pilani. Satya has over 7 years of experience in the field of data science. Well, who better to speak about it than the man of the day himself? So, Satya, could you please start by introducing yourself and sharing a bit about your journey in the field of data science?
Hi, Suri. First of all, thank you for the lovely welcome.
Sure.
Yes, to introduce myself, as you said, I started my machine learning and data science journey back in 2015 academically at BITS Pilani. So there I was doing my master's for 2 years, which ended in 2017. So from 2017, the beginning of 2017, I was interning with General Electric, GE Digital to be specific. And from intern and to a full-time employee, I was working there till the mid of 2019. So from mid of 2019, I was working with Fair Isaac, popularly called as FICO, which is a popular credit scoring company and decision intelligence company. So from mid of 2019 till the mid of 2022, I was there with Fair Isaac, and then I got the opportunity to work with Microsoft, where I'm currently working now. So from the mid of 2022 till present, I'm working as a data and applied scientist at Microsoft. So over all these years, of course, like I have changed domains in the sense like from academics to GE, which is more of an industrial company, to a finance and decision intelligence company in FICO, and finally to a big tech and product company, Microsoft. So what has remained the same is the core of data science, Python, ML, which has remained constant over all these years.
Okay, sure. It's great to know about your exposure. And of course, the seed must have been sown like somewhere back in the college, right? So you've been in the data science field for 7 years now. And of course, like that was the early period of the data science boom. So what made you decide so that into the like to enter into the field of data science so early? Like you were in the college, you were deciding, okay, which field to choose, which field to go into. So what made you decide that?
I mean, the first decision was that like initially everyone is started with programming, right? How we program computers, but how do we scale this programming? How do we make the decisioning of the computers and machines in a way that they can themselves learn from the data and then take actions rather than you sitting there and writing an if else statement? So that was the primary motivation that I entered into the field of data science and machine learning, because I could see that the use of this technology can be done in almost all of the domains that we have in the world, from energy to finance to anything. And that is what made me really passionate about this field. And that's the reason that I actually entered into this. Yeah.
Okay. So Microsoft is a like dream company for a lot many people, and of course, people do look out and they want aspire to be in Microsoft. So can you little bit talk about how does your day in a life look like being a data scientist at Microsoft? What do you do throughout the day? What your journey like? How do you spend your day in Microsoft?
Yes, certainly. So at Microsoft, being the forefront of the product and the AI tech revolution, so my day starts typically. We have interaction with our stakeholders,
Okay.
which are from the product team, and then we also have interaction with the proper engineering team, and then we are the ones who sit in the middle. You know, like we are the ML and data science teams uh, who actually who actually power these features. You know, which goes into various product of Microsoft, which are AI and ML enabled.
Okay.
So I talk with stakeholders, I talk with data engineers, I build pipelines on the cloud on Microsoft Azure, starting from data ingestion to feature engineering to training on GPUs, and also to ultimately to serve these models, you know, like so that specific features can be enabled using machine learning and AI. So this is a very brief of what I do at Microsoft. Yeah.
Great, great. It looks really inspiring to be, of course, Microsoft, and what you do throughout the days looks really, really amazing and so cool. So,
Thank
for
you.
all the people out there and who are in the audience, for all the data science enthusiasts, you can go through the link in the description, which is there, and sign up on our portal, and you can get in touch with one of the success counselors that we have. All right. So, let's move on to the next question, of course. Yeah, you've been in the field for a long time, and you might have seen the changes over the years, like in terms of what were there, let's say back in 2017 or 2015, and what it is there
Yeah.
right now. So in terms of
Mm.
technology, what changes do you see across, let's say, last 8 to 10 years?
Yeah. So there are many things that I see. First of all, it can be thought from like if you see the area of data analysis
Mhm.
today, the way that Power BI and Tableau have evolved over the time.
Correct.
They're enabled with lots and lots of features, but at the
Mhm.
same time there are many open source libraries from Python which can
Mhm.
actually also do a lot of um, which can ease a data analyst's life. Like there are
Okay.
many libraries in Python.
Mhm.
So I have seen how the libraries and tools have evolved in the data analysis space, and
Mhm.
I've also seen the evolution of information representation. Like, how, for example, specifically in the case of unstructured and textual data, how do
Correct.
we store the information of this huge unstructured data in terms of numbers, in terms of vectors, which
Mhm.
is specifically popularly called as embeddings.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah.
and these embeddings, as you also know, are uh, something which are the atomic blocks of the current day, the most popular thing that you see in data science and ML space, ChatGPT. So that's
Mhm.
more of an information representation, like how information representation has changed. Initially,
Correct.
there was uh, in text analysis and natural language processing. Initially, it was term frequency, inverse document frequency.
Yes.
Then there were globe vectors, and then over the time, um, these globe vectors, which are also embeddings, have
Mhm.
actually evolved into the embeddings that you actually get from really complex and efficient transformer based models like BERT. So that's
Mhm.
more of an information representation perspective. Then there is
Correct.
a perspective of how um, the modeling tool and frameworks have changed.
Mhm.
Scikit-learn is something which I see has um, it has like remained constant, and over the
Correct.
test of time, it
Mhm.
has been there from 2015, and it's also the go-to framework in Python. I
Correct.
mean, scikit-learn is a Python framework, for
Correct.
example,
Mhm.
which has remained constant. Like from 2015 to till
Mhm.
now. If you want to do classical machine learning, you need to go to scikit-learn. That's what I see. Then
Correct.
over the
Correct.
time, like initially when it was 2015, right, when it comes to deep learning frameworks and text technologies,
Mhm.
it was TensorFlow was really
The
popular,
book.
back in
Yeah.
2015. And
Yeah.
after that, sometimes I think I'd say 2020 or 2021, like 2019 or 2020, PyTorch picked up. And if
Correct.
you see,
Yeah.
even like OpenAI's ChatGPT is built on the top of PyTorch. So that
Yes.
is again from the deep learning tooling framework. Then comes
Correct.
the deployment perspective. Like in the early stage, once you build models, once you build these predictive models, you need to somehow host them, right?
Mhm.
Initially, it was like using Python frameworks like Django, Flask, and somehow deploying them as servers, as web servers
Mhm.
in cloud, in popular clouds, be it Microsoft Azure,
Mhm.
AWS. But then after that, the cloud offerings for ML has come up. The cloud offerings for data science has come up.
Mhm.
Microsoft has many Synapse, Azure, AWS offers AWS SageMaker. So
Mhm.
there is also evolution of where you build models, of where you host them. So
Correct.
this has been a very interesting journey that I can. This is the most important aspects of ML and DS of data science that I see that has evolved. Of course, not to say about. I should mention about transformers because
Correct.
um, with the advent of the paper, attention is all you need back in 2017.
Yes.
There were some recurrent neural networks and LSTMs were leading the text and natural language space. But with the advent of transformers, you can actually scale the size of the model based on data and compute.
Yes, it
So
was pretty quirky title, but yes, it was perfect for what it is doing. Like attention is all you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that kind of powers all of the neural, most of the neural. I'm not say all, but most of the neural network based
Yes.
um, research and applied ML is somehow powered based on transformers. Yeah.
Correct. So, like, of course, there's a good news for the audience as well. Like, they, of course, are the user of Chat GPT, but yes, they can also build it because, like, the way Satya has explained, the way it has evolved, we can learn about all these technologies, right? And we can also build on top of them, and they can also be the developers of these particular technologies. Is it? Am I correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So in terms of the roles, right? Initially, like the technologies that you were talking about, they had different roles, like maybe data engineering and all these kind of roles. But right now, there are a lot many different kind of roles that are coming up. Maybe prompt engineer, or maybe data analyst, or business analyst, or like there are of course many different kind of jobs opportunity which is coming up. So can you also talk about little bit terms of the diversification in the roles which is coming up in the industry?
Yes, definitely. So as you mentioned about something called as a data analyst or a business analyst, um,
Correct.
these roles are specifically um, meant for when when you have a data, when you have lots of data, your business data, and you want to show to your business stakeholders what has happened till now.
Correct.
what
Hmm.
what was the sales of a particular
Hmm.
um, phone or a particular laptop over the
Hmm.
last 5 years
Hmm. Hmm.
in a particular country, let's say in India. Based
Right.
on that, the operations team, the business team, they can take decisions like, since the
Hmm.
growth of this product is happening YOY, like year on year,
Hmm.
month on month, quarter on quarter. So we can actually get some new features and get some latest releases in this market so that
Hmm.
you can increase on your revenue. So it's more about showing your business stakeholders like what exactly has happened
Hmm.
till now.
Hmm.
More of descriptive analytics, what I see.
Hmm.
That certainly is a very important job role and job functionality in across many different companies that you see. So it actually helps the business stakeholders to take decisions, and these decisions are really crucial in the sense like
Hmm.
from a strategy level or a tactical level. These
Hmm.
decisions are really crucial, and data analysts and business analysts are actually driving these decisions.
Correct.
So that's one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Secondly, there is something called as, of course, like popular term, data scientist. Data
Hmm.
scientists, what they do at this point is like they also try to predict the future. Now,
Hmm.
given that these things have happened, um, what is possibly going to happen in the near future? Okay, this is what
Hmm.
was the sales over this month over month, year over year for a particular product.
Hmm.
Um, and now we're going to also forecast what is going to happen in the 2024 entire of 2024,
Right.
because
Right.
the year 2024 has not yet unrolled, like it's still
Hmm.
going to happen, but predicting that this
Hmm.
is what is going to happen, and
Hmm.
then you drive crucial business decisions like you do optimizations. This is how you should price a particular product in this season because the sales can go really high. This is a holiday time, you should price it at the max and
Hmm.
whatnot.
Hmm.
uh, so that's more of a data scientist who can use predictive models to
Hmm.
actually predict the future, show that to stakeholders, and also do decision intelligence and decision optimization of a
Hmm.
particular business and industry. Then there is, of course, like something called as a machine learning engineer, who,
Correct.
or a term called as applied scientist, which also being
Hmm.
used in many tech companies, is where they actually build the ML solution into the product.
Hmm. Hmm.
It
Hmm.
can be consumer or enterprise, like
Hmm.
so. any big tech company, you buy a product, it is driven by ML and AI. So that's what the ML and AI engineers do. They power these features and products using this latest ML technology and AI technologies. So that's and something which is also like new and coming up very lately is prompt engineering, where
Right.
there is a way that you can actually talk to these large language models, huge models like Chat GPT, using natural language, but at the same time you can um, derive output from it that you need, and it can be anything like maybe summarizing text, or classifying text, or classifying images, generating images, and whatnot. Yeah.
Correct. Yes, like we do, of course, see the capabilities that these particular models are having. That's, and of course, like that's great to know the difference between, because people get confused when they hear these terms, like what is data analyst doing, what is business analyst doing, what is data scientist doing. So, of course, you explained it really well, and so our audience will get to know. Okay, this is the actual difference between them. So now, when they are preparing, of course, I know, and you as an interview, let's say, what actually do you expect in terms of the technical skill if they want to, let's say, join in your team, somebody want to join in your team? So in terms of technical and the overall skill, what do you actually see, like what should they know and at what level?
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to somehow bifurcate that into two aspects. One is the
Yeah.
problem solving aspect.
Correct.
The problem solving aspect, that you can actually logically reason,
Mhm.
you can somehow creatively think that how you're going to solve a business problem
Mhm.
using ML, data science, data analysis, whatever. The
Mhm.
second thing is, even if you can creatively think of solving it,
Mhm.
how good are you with the tools
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
is needed to solve this problem? So these are the
Mhm.
two most important aspects that I see. Uh,
Okay.
so one is, of course, the aspect of business problem solving, where
Mhm.
I throw someone a challenge, and
Mhm.
I maybe I'll ask them like, hey, what is your end-to-end solution to solve a particular challenge or a problem using
Mhm.
ML, and show me the end-to-end solution. And that need not be like programmatic. That can
Mhm.
be simple in terms of arrows and visual diagrams, and the critical thinking aspect, like
Mhm.
you walk through, you uh, think out loud through your mind, like, hey, this is what I've got, and this is how
Mhm.
I'm going to build data pipeline, this is how I'm going to train this model from this source, and this is how I'm going to solve this problem using, let's say, ML.
Mhm.
The second is, of course, is like, um, can you actually solve it? And for
Mhm.
that, you need the right tools. You
Mhm.
need to know about the right ML algorithms. You need to know about proper descriptive statistics in case you are doing data analysis. You need to know about Tableau or Power BI. In case you are
Mhm.
want to be a data analysis or data analyst, then how good are you with the tools,
Right.
Tableau and
Mhm.
Power BI or Excel?
Of course.
How good are you with SQL? Because you need to pull in the data.
Correct.
Anything that you're going to do, either you are a data analyst or a data scientist or an ML engineer, you need to work with data, right? So
Correct.
how good are you pulling the data from the correct data sources?
Mhm.
Um, so for that, again, like I mentioned about, like I'll be looking into how good they are with the tools. Maybe I'll ask them like, hey, can you show me like how good you are in Python? Maybe
Mhm.
some Python data structures I can ask them,
Mhm.
and they can code them up. So that's one aspect. Second is like a very good understanding in case you're signing up for a data science role or ML role, or even data analyst use some kind of modeling techniques.
Right.
How good are you understanding these ML models? How good are
Mhm.
you? Can you
Mhm.
explain any algorithm end
Mhm.
to end?
Mhm.
So this is the equation what of linear regression,
Mhm.
and I'm going to explain the optimization technique, like how linear regression algorithm learns from the data.
Mhm.
You have to properly tell that
Mhm.
complete working of the algorithm.
Mhm.
I'm just throwing out some of the popular algorithms like linear regression and logistic regression or decision trees, but you have to know that crystal clear.
Mm-hmm.
And you also need to have some kind of a breadth. Like for example, you should be you should have touch based on almost all the important aspects of data science or data analysis or ML engineering. You should know, even if not everything should be in depth, because that's quite difficult. That everyone, like anyone, knows all the thing. That's quite difficult. But you should know in breadth. Okay, this is what this algorithm does. This is what this tool does. This is how you can use a particular library of Python. This is how you can use a particular data structure of Python. So you should know that in breadth. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Okay, okay. So that's great in a view in terms of how can we learn these skills, we as an audience, right? So audience do also have a few questions. Of course, I am going through these, and we are going to cover, of course, all of them throughout our conversation. So stay tuned. All right. So, of course, many of the viewers are aspiring data scientists, and you also told about what do you expect from them when, let's say, if you are the interviewer, right? So, how important is it, do you think, to take a formal course like the certification course that we have at Newton School, to upskilling there, or maybe start to know the data science, to enter into the field of data science? So how important is it to have a formal course like this?
Um, Taking a formal course, what it does is it shows you a path. It
Hmm.
shows you a guided path,
Hmm.
um, from how you can take from the very initials,
Hmm.
the very introduction of data science to actually be job ready. And it
Hmm.
shows you the path.
Hmm.
It shows you that path in that you can actually complete that path in the shortest amount of time,
Hmm.
um, and actually gain this knowledge in a very systematic, precise, and concise way. So
Hmm.
this is, I mean, this is certainly one thing that you should look into,
Hmm.
because it will give you the direction, and that is very, very, very important.
Of course, yes. And what are the basically key aspect, or what should we actually look into that kind of formal course? Like, if we want to choose some particular course, okay, like should I go with a certification degree or not? So, how do we decide actually? What are the key aspect to look at that?
Hmm. So, as I mentioned, also from the standpoint of like what a good interview will look like. So
Mhm.
you should always think in that perspective, in the sense like, what are the syllabus in terms of like, if there is Python, there is SQL, Excel, Power BI or Tableau,
Mhm.
and a course on ML algorithms where
Mhm.
there's also like uh, you are taught like how some of the important ML algorithms work,
Mhm.
and some problem solving. So that is the crucial step that you need to have in mind,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, and that will give you the path. And once you get the path, then you are self sufficient to, because life is, I mean, these things are lifelong learning. Like you'll be learning till literally your retirement. So but having this standard in a course will help you to quickly grasp the prerequisite, and give you the path into the journey. I mean, it will give you how you can step into this journey quickly
Mhm.
and in
Mhm.
a systematic way. So this is what I look into. Like needs to have the tools, for example, Python, SQL, Tableau, etc. It also
Mhm.
needs to have the algorithms that you need to actually
Okay.
model to solve these problems. And yeah,
Okay. And
that's
how
the important
important
aspect.
is it to have live or capstone kind of projects in that particular course as well?
Yes, that's what I mentioned, right? Having the capstone um, will actually make you aware of how you can solve a business problem end to end. That
Mhm.
is the starting point of where you will actually start to think like,
Mhm.
okay, I have got all the tools in my arsenal. I've got
Mhm.
everything. I've got the guns, but how do I fight? So
Right.
the capstone actually tells you like, okay, this is how I'm going to fight.
Mhm.
So that is a very important aspect. Capstone is the very important aspect of the course.
Okay. So there are, of course, some question related to technicalities of what kind of, let's say, subjects are being taught. So one of the prominent one is like Python is very widely used across the data science industry. So what is your opinion on that? How good should we be in Python, and how should we actually start learning that?
You should be absolutely um, I mean, you should be really comfortable at least with the basics of Python. And
Mm-hmm.
even like if you can really quickly grasp and get into the intermediate level, because everything in DS and like in data science and ML, and even up to some extent,
Mm-hmm.
some large extent, data analysts requires Python.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to learn this, and that can be going from literally from the basics of what are the data types and the data
Right.
structures in Python to
Mm.
the object-oriented concepts and the how the conditionals work, how the loops work,
Right.
um, and then of course the latest tools in Python like be it pandas, NumPy,
Mm-hmm.
scikit-learn,
Mm-hmm.
PyTorch. These are the things that you need to learn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And also, like the field of data science and machine learning is assumed to be maths heavy. So, people who are from maybe a different background or who don't have a formal maybe degree or courses on the maths, what are your thoughts on that? Like, how difficult is it for them to cope up, of course, and what is the level of heaviness of maths which is required?
See, when it comes to the initial when you enter into this field,
Mhm.
of course you can't be a math heavy professional,
Correct.
but
Correct.
it's simply not a very. I'd say that you need maths, but not at the level like I mean too much of depth. Depend
Mhm.
once you enter into this field,
Mhm.
and like you start to becoming a seasoned professional. You spend a
Mhm.
decade or half a decade, then
Mhm.
the nature of the field is that you will become comfortable with maths.
Mhm.
But to enter into it, you
Mhm.
just need to know the basics and programming with Python and the
Mhm.
tools. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, all right, all right. And of course, there are some myths or misconception that people do have, regarding the data science profession itself. Like, which is one of them is like, of course, like that you already talked about. So, like, can you maybe shed some light on, like, let's say people say people need to have a BTech degree to be a data scientist, or they need to have an advanced degree or a ITCS degree. So, how important is it? Like, are they really important, or is it just a myth or something, or like, can you shed some light on that?
There are some degrees which will be always helpful. I mean, I don't say that if you don't have a particular degree, you will not enter into this field. But there are
Correct.
many data scientists I know, like which come from
Mm.
economics, commerce background, and because that's the nature of this job. This
Correct.
is no, this is like across spread across domains, and
Mhm.
whatever you're learning in any of your like backgrounds, be it not even from science, you're
Mhm.
somehow going to use it up. Even if you're
Mhm.
a commerce student or an economic student, you're still going to use these
Mhm.
concepts while doing data science. So
Mhm.
um, it's more about uh, the need to learn, the passion to learn is what you actually need to be a data scientist.
Correct, correct. And even from my experience as well, like I have been a graduate of from IIT, and I have been in graduate in aerospace engineering. So I shifted my career from aerospace to data science. Like from past 5 years, I have been a data science. So yeah, of course, like
Mhm.
people out there who are thinking that you need advanced degree or something, or maybe IT degree, it's not like that. Like, you can become data scientist from that other domains as well. All right. There is one question from the audience as well, and of course, it's a general question as well. In terms of how important it is, like data structure algorithm, like DSA is the thing which is there. How important is it for you to become a data scientist, and what level?
Um, I also mentioned in the beginning, like you need to know the important data structures.
Hmm.
The basic data structures is something you need to be comfortable with.
Correct.
Um, Again, like algorithms, you can slowly pick it up. I mean,
Hmm.
it is always good that as compared to some professional who knows
Hmm.
simply X. It's always good that someone knows X plus Y. Um,
Correct.
I'll certainly say that these things are important,
Hmm.
and you should keep learning. You should, as I said, like, this is lifelong learning, and you should obviously have a very basic, strong understanding of data structures. That is definitely going to be there. Yeah.
Right, right. All right, all right. And so let's say as a seasoned professional, how do you stay relevant, or what are the skill level that you are working on right now? Because let's say you have been in the industry for around 8 years now. So at this point of time, to become relevant, to be let's say more and more skillful, what are the things that you do? So what do you suggest to become, to be relevant still after maybe 8 to 10 years into the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that's one of the very important and crucial aspects, that you need to be, because this space is evolving at a rapid pace. So if the number of research papers that are coming in, that is enormous. Like every day there is some kind of a research that carries on. So slowly, like it's more about being active on social media, maybe on Twitter, on LinkedIn. There are many uh, like professional that you can follow. You can follow, like if you are really becoming one day a seasoned professional, you can start looking into AR, Archive, which is popularly called as Archive, which is a
Okay.
um, archive of research papers, and you can see like what are the new research papers coming in. I'll suggest that once you get into this field, you need to study, or like at least go through a new research paper at least twice or thrice a week, or maybe once a week. Yeah, you need, so that you keep, even if you don't read it completely, but you need to know what is happening in industry. And at the same time, you should also keep looking into the Python ecosystem. You need to follow what are the latest tools and techs that is coming in to solve the problems, be it from forecasting to causal inference to deep learning. What are the new technologies? Because this is changing. As I told, this is always changing. What was there 2 years back might not be relevant today. To be very honest, like even two
Right.
years is a different thing, because like what is being used in the January of 2024 that might not be relevant in the December of 2024. As
Right.
simple as that. I mean, so
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So build on top of that. So let's say we can like also talk about the present open source communities and platforms which are there. Maybe Kaggle, Hugging Face, or maybe Stack Overflow, and any other communities that you know of that people can be part of and can start building their presence there.
Mhm. Yeah, Hugging Face is really important in terms of mostly from a deep learning perspective, on neural networks perspective. Hugging Face is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kaggle is really good again, because a lot of Kagglers will be submitting their own notebooks, and you can
Correct.
learn a lot from these notebooks. And you'll also, Kaggle is also a very good source of lots of data that you
Mm-hmm.
can use to keep on learning. Like, and it
Mm-hmm.
has from all of the modalities. In the sense, you can find computer vision data set, you can find natural language processing data set, you can find forecasting data set, you can find normal structured data set to solve problems like forecast, customer lifetime value. I mean, Kaggle is a very important thing. There are other relevant papers, like relevant things like papers with code.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there are many other blogs also.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest, like once you get into Twitter, like Twitter is a good space to um, follow these things. Once you start following some of the most important leaders in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you will get interact, because the recommendations will come. Okay, you need to follow this and this, and slowly you'll be like following a lot of professionals on Twitter, and will be learning from them. Yeah.
Right, right. Even OpenAI's papers, like official papers, are they are also really good and knowledgeable.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. In terms of, let's say, if somebody wants to start the journey right now, so before even starting the journey, what are the things that should keep in mind in terms of do's and don'ts? Like in terms of this is the thing that they should be doing, that is must to do, and these are the things that they should not do, right? So what are the do's and don'ts in the journey?
One is, the first thing that I'll start is patience.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, before even jumping to the programmatic tools, I'll talk about the human aspects of being in this
Correct.
field. You need to have patience,
Hmm.
and you need to be consistent.
Hmm.
These are the two important things. At any point of your time, you should not feel like, hey, no, let's stop this. You should not feel like that. So you need to be patient and you need to be consistent in your learning. Then it's about balancing between your programming skills in Python and also about your how good you learn about these models. And as you mentioned, it can be from Kaggle, it can be from Hugging Space, and you will learn, read about this research papers, you read about this blogs, many blogs in Medium that you see. And of course, like taking a course will certainly help in the sense that it will give you a very um, guided path. And from that guided path, you can uh, then you will be self-sufficient to understand like what you should do. So these are some of the important things. You have to be really good programmatically, and you have to be really good in terms of understanding ML models and how you can use them to solve real world business problems or data problems. Yeah.
All right, all right. And what are the maybe don'ts, like they of course should refrain from doing it? Anything which is that like specific?
Uh, so one don't is sometimes we get too much carried away into the technical aspect of maybe a
Mm,
tool, maybe Python, or maybe a language.
mhm,
But you should give 50%. I mean, 50% of your focus should certainly go into that, but
mhm,
50% of it should also be aligned to what you're trying to solve. For
mhm,
example, you mentioned about a capstone, right?
mhm,
You should be able to think like how I'm going to solve this capstone, and
mhm,
uh, simply going into, let's say, an algorithm and just delving deep inside that is good, that is needed. But at the
mhm.
same time, you should also be thinking, hey, okay, but that is just a puzzle, a piece of the puzzle. So
Correct.
I need to solve the entire puzzle, and I can't simply take a piece of the puzzle and go deep into that. I need to
Mhm,
have everything in everything ready, and then only you are going to solve the entire puzzle and be like come out successful. So um,
mhm.
don't get carried away into simply one thing. Please
Right.
make sure that what is the problem that you're going to solve. That should be
Mhm.
always there in the mind. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, okay, all right. Of course, one of the do's that you have shared is joining a formal course or maybe getting educated and learning things. And of course, like people who are there in the audience, like once again, like I'm basically you can go through the link in the description, sign up. One of our success counselor will be in touch with you. And of course, yeah. Moving on to the next question. A lot of data science aspirants are there in the audience right now. So what advice do you have for them in terms of building their skills, networking, or maybe landing opportunity at the top companies? Any specific set of advices that you have for them?
Yeah. The first advice, like you have already told, in case you don't have a dedicated path, make sure that you go for a dedicated path from a from a course provider, or yeah, like Suri has already mentioned.
Correct.
um, after that after that, keep on um, building on top of like what you learn from this.
Mhm.
Also be always active on social media, in the sense like social media in the sense Twitter, like,
Mhm.
and follow the best of the best professionals there, what they're
Mhm.
doing.
Mhm.
So keep on track with what is happening in the ML industry. Maybe um, there are many repositories on Python, GitHub. Try to solve, try to get into, like, once you learn Python, try to
Mhm.
maybe do some contribution to open source. Uh,
Mhm.
so there are many things, many ways that you can learn. And always make sure that you, if someone asks you a question on any topic,
Mhm.
you should be able to visualize that. I mean, sometimes just sit and think, hey, how is logistic regression working? Make sure
Mhm.
that if someone is asking you, if interviewer asking you, you should be able to uh, describe that algorithm in a
Mhm.
very crisp and concise manner, so
Mhm.
that even the interviewer is really convinced that, okay. So
Right.
never do anything which is half baked. Never do that. You should
Mhm.
always have the things properly in your mind. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And of course, like I've already mentioned, like what are the things that you need to do, because like someone in the comment section has also told data structures. Definitely data structures, go with data structures, learn data structures. But to implement data structures, you need to know Python, because I'll suggest that implement data structures using Python only. It will take less time, and Python uh, keep become really good in this language. And the second is like, of course, like you need to learn about algorithms, and I think Suri has already told like what's the path to have a proper path to get into this. Yeah.
Correct, correct. Okay, let's take on like one or two audience questions. So one person said that he is doing BCA and he's in the second year. So like in general, let's say somebody who is not in the engineering domain or not in the domain which is closely related to maths, and they are in the maybe first year or second year, how can they start and maybe looking at that particular field of data science, and how they can do what at that point of time right now?
Okay. So if you really want to learn maths is a huge topic. Okay.
Right.
Um, so you need to somehow need guidance there to
Mhm.
understand what is the maths, or what exactly you should look into, like which aspects of applied maths you should look into
Mhm.
to kickstart your ML and DS journey. And
Mhm.
you need guidance there. It
Mhm.
can be a course, for example, but you should not delve into the entirety of maths. It's a huge
Mhm.
subject per se.
Mhm.
So what exactly you need? You need guidance to learn like what, if you want to learn maths, what is the
Mhm.
math that you should learn?
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
course will be very helpful there.
Mhm.
Second thing, once you learn the basics of this maths, right? See,
Mhm.
learning this maths will not open your mind completely till the
Mhm.
time you actually don't utilize it. It can
Mhm.
be five data points, simply five data points, or even two data points.
Mhm.
And whatever maths that you learn, like for example, the gradient descent of neural networks, or gradient
Right.
descent of logistic regression, anything, any decision tree,
Correct.
just try to implement that, and
Mhm.
see how the process works. How the
Correct.
process works.
Mhm.
Don't dwell too much into the theory. Make
Right.
sure that you are also applying it programmatically.
Right. Right. Right.
Programmatically is the best thing, but
Mhm.
you need to apply that.
Right. So
Yeah,
kind of getting a hands-on is something which is, of course, always
yeah,
preferable.
yeah.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
if Suri also will also like echo with me that taking a course will help there, because
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
both
Of
of these
course.
things will pro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
getting mentor, getting a guided preparation, of course getting hands on are the things that any formal course will provide, and ours is of course the best one which can provide that. Like we do have all the things which you told about in terms of maybe the subjects that we are covering, in terms of the guidance, in terms of the maybe helping with them the practice opportunity, and then getting them to the capstone or live projects. So these are the things of course getting covered in there. Yeah. Any other questions that I see from the audience? Like if I can see some questions from the audience, because almost most of them we have covered. And yeah, let me see. Any specific tools or something which you feel are the most important, maybe at this moment, if somebody wants to maybe pick up one tool or one lesson right now from this particular live. Okay, this is what they should start doing by tonight. Okay, so if somebody has that resolve in their mind, so what do you maybe suggest for them to to start doing right away, and any one thing or two things that you can suggest to them?
I can suggest multiple things. I would like to suggest multiple things.
Sure.
Um, if you want to visualize data,
Hmm.
uh, pick on Pythons. It has some libraries like Seaborn and Plotly.
Hmm.
Use these libraries to visualize data. If
Hmm.
you have Tableau, Power BI, again, that's great. You can
Hmm.
try to visualize data.
Hmm.
Uh, if you try to visualize data in the sense like you try to find relationships in the data,
Hmm.
that will help you to like understand why and how you need to build data science products or ML products. So
Mhm.
that's one thing that I'll tell.
Mhm.
Data visualization,
Mhm.
Python. I'll always go with Python's Plotly. I love that.
Mhm.
Second thing is, in case you want to do some kind of descriptive statistics or data, just play around with data wrangling, go with Python pandas.
Mhm.
Learn Python pandas. What is Python pandas?
Mhm.
um, Third thing is, if you are somehow comfortable with all these things, you want to build some ML, simple ML models, go with Python scikit-learn.
Mhm.
If you want to play with data only,
Mhm.
you should go with SQL.
Mhm.
Go learn about RDBMS, what is DBMS, what is database concepts, and go with
Mhm.
SQL. Play around, write some queries, and see like what is the data that you're fetching from your DB in the sense database.
Mhm.
Go with that. If you want to really play around with neural networks,
Mhm.
PyTorch. Yeah.
Hmm. All right, all right. So there are two or three people who have asked about how can we apply for the data science course. So you can go to the description of this particular YouTube live, and there will be a link attached after apply for the data science course. There will be a link bit.ly/ something. So you can go to that link, sign up, and one of the success counselor from our team will get in touch with you, and you can start with the process. All right, all right, all right. So how many of our now, of course, in the audience are excited about it and want to do something by tonight? They want to start something by tonight, and that's what we want to see, of course. And of course, we should thank Satya for his time and the valuable lessons that he has brought up into today's life. So yeah, any other thing, any other questions that we have from the audience? Else, like, we are good to go, of course, and we got to know about a lot of things today. And yes, let's apply them. Any ending notes, Satya, that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah. So the ending note is like, this is an amazing field to be, and specifically in these times when
Hmm.
it's so much into the industry and developing rapidly, really fast. This is the future. So make sure that, um, be patient and consistent.
Hmm.
Um, Take up a good, well guided course. And like Suri can help ahead with that.
Right.
As I mentioned, please be patient and please be consistent and
Hmm.
learn in a way that you yourself feel satisfied that okay, this is something, um, and you'll be learning every day, in the sense like what you know yesterday and what
Hmm.
you know what will be knowing today, there will
Hmm.
be difference, there will be a delta every time in this
Right.
particular domain. So be technically strong, be creative,
Hmm.
think how to solve challenges, how to solve problems. And I'll tell all the best to all of you to for your future. And I expect that all of you get into data science and
Yeah.
have a really bright future. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Satya, for the session. Yeah, we are grateful for that. Yeah. All right. We can end now.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.